Want to welcome my motherfucking brother to the building, Jadakiss, man, one of the motherfucking elite spitters.
He want to let niggas know there's a place called Yonkers in the world that niggas get busy in. We went through all of their music, Jim, Jewels, Cam, and the Dipset. We pulled out all of their missiles, so we, you know what I mean? We was prepared.
I used to tell Beans, yo, Beans, you sure? Like, nah, we gonna have to fight these niggas. Like, these niggas can really rap.
Big used to make us feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Big Puff used to put a lot of pressure on us. Write that over, this, that. Like, he was just trying to get the best out of us, but the way he was doing it was very pressure. Only thing they wasn't running out of, ladies and gentlemen, DISS and Ace was coming on hands.
Unlimited.
That shit was I don't know when it was coming out of the ground. It never stopped.
Niggas was grabbing bottles and everything.
My son had 5. He said, yo, Dad, I'm on my 5th ace of spade. Nigga, you better chill the fuck out.
I'm still trying to burn you. Yo, 38, I feel you, nigga. I'm trying to smoke this nigga.
Everybody want to be the best in what they do. Everybody want to have the best verse, and we got to keep that mind.
That's right.
You gotta want to kill niggas. Let's keep battling. You can have all the gripes you want, but always know we collectively got to bring hip hop up.
Definitely shout out 38 and them, BSF, Benny and them. That's the fam, the whole Buffalo. You know what it is, man.
Shout out hip hop.
But just know y'all niggas can't fuck with Bleek. Only him and Hove probably. But I'm nicer than Hove now.
For the most part, I came through when you called me, except for 38. He might be the only person I said I didn't come through.
I did a record with Benny. He put in with Benny and Kiss, and I happen to have the best verse on the record. I smoked the record, and Kiss never did a song with me again.
It's good to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
And now with the way the world is, people just want to be in a conversation. They don't even, if you can get in the conversation, then it helps you.
He never did a song with me again. I don't think he'll ever do a song with me again. You got a chance to come redeem yourself, Kiss. Come on, come outside, come outside.
One of the meanest Jews I learned from Hove is just say nothing. He can be in the fire and be out of it fast because he never says anything. Me, whenever he wants.
I don't got that composure, my G.
I'm learning.
I've been obliterating niggas for years. Is this about a verse or is this about a career?
I sent the record.
Yo, don't add on to this. Don't add on to that.
And Bleek,
even Hattie.
Now, this whole situation between Kiss and 38 Spesh had been sitting in the air for a minute, and people were starting to wonder if Kiss was ever going to speak on it. 38 had already made it clear he felt some type of way, claiming Kiss didn't come through for him when he expected him to, and from there, things started getting way more personal than just two rappers talking about a missing verse. Because once 38 started throwing shots, this wasn't just about music anymore. He started questioning Kiss publicly, bringing his name into interviews, making comments about his relationships in the industry, and basically challenging the image Kiss built over decades. But through all of that, Kiss stayed mostly quiet. No long social media rant, no back and forth campaign, no big response record. He just let 38 talk, and that silence actually made the situation even more interesting.
When it's all said and done, man, and you hang the cleats up, you hang the gloves up, you hang the mic up, what you want your contribution to hip hop to be remembered for?
That I never wavered. You know what I mean? For the most part, I came through when you called me. Except for 38. He might be the only person I said I didn't come through for.
And Bleek, I sent the record.
Yo, don't add on to this. Don't add on to that.
And Bleek,
even Hattie, I'm gonna get to you.
Damn.
Bleek,
yo,
at least you guys never teamed up against me and made it a thing. Well, yeah, I try to come through.
We know you busy, dog.
And I try to help the dudes on the come up. You know what I mean? The ones that really, not saying everybody don't need it.
Damn, I was on already.
When you,
he's like, Bleek, you good.
I definitely, you got money. You had it, it's good. So it's not, y'all don't need it right away. At my funeral, I want at least 15 niggas that tried to get on to get up there and say, I
looked
can't
out.
lie, Kiss came through for me.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
Nah,
And
that's real
that's
shit.
what it's about.
That's real
You know what
shit,
I mean?
man.
Because everybody knows Kiss has never been somebody who needs to prove he can rap. His reputation is already stamped. So when 38 kept pushing the issue, fans started wondering whether Kiss was ignoring him because he didn't care, or because he was waiting for the right moment to address it. Well, that moment finally came when Kiss sat down with Memphis Bleek, and what made it wild was how casually he brought 38 into the conversation. Kiss was talking about what he wants his legacy to be when everything is over. He said that, for the most part, whenever people called on him, he showed up. Then out of nowhere, he dropped 38's name, basically saying 38 might be the one person who claims Kiss didn't come through for him. That one little comment said a lot without Kiss having to do too much. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't crashing out, and he wasn't trying to make the situation bigger than it already was. He just acknowledged it, kept it moving, and almost made it sound like 38 was the exception to a long history of Kiss helping people out. But then, Memphis Bleek tried to jump into that same conversation, and that's when Kiss had to check him too. Bleek started bringing up his own situation, and Kiss immediately shut that down, basically telling him not to add himself into what was already being discussed. And just like that, what started as a legacy conversation turned into another chapter of the 38 Spesh situation. And this is where the conversation got deeper, because Kiss wasn't really trying to turn the whole thing into some big rap beef. His bigger point was about his reputation and what he wants people to remember when his career is finally done. Kiss explained that he always tried to show love to artists who were still climbing, especially the ones who genuinely needed that extra push. That's important because it gives more context to why the situation with 38 became such a big deal in the first place. If Kiss sees himself as somebody who normally answers the call and helps people move forward, then having one artist publicly paint him like he ignored him is obviously going to stand out. And Kiss even joked with Memphis Bleek about that exact thing. Bleek was basically trying to remind him that he had been waiting on something too, but Kiss made it clear that Bleek wasn't in the same position as some hungry artist trying to get his first real look. In Kiss's eyes, Bleek was already established, already connected, already doing well. He wasn't somebody who desperately needed Kiss to open a door. That tells you a lot about how Kiss seems to look at features too. To him, it's not always just business. Sometimes it's about giving somebody a moment they might not be able to get anywhere else. He even said he wants people at his funeral one day who can honestly say, Kiss came through for me.
Like, what the fuck was y'all niggas eating back then? Cause them Clue tapes, y'all niggas wasn't eating regular bacon, egg, and cheeses from the corner store. Y'all niggas was getting Pac-Man power pellets from somewhere, something.
I'm gonna tell you what it was, Bleek.
People be telling me, yo, Bleek could do verses, and then they mention certain niggas' names, and they be like, yeah, but wait till they get to their mixtape. Say, yo, mixtape joints ain't hits. And niggas say, you seen what the Locks did in verses? Say, yeah, nigga, but he ain't them and they ain't him.
Yeah, I got some crazy shits off mixtapes. Fifth got shits, Wheezy, Siegel. It's all how you make your playlist.
Yeah, but
it's
not the
some
nigga
niggas
who was
from-
coming at me. You see the names you just said? Y'all, 50, Siegel.
I'm staying
the
out of
nigga
this. One of the meanest Jews I learned from Hov, this shit say nothing. He can be in the fire and be out of it fast because he never says anything.
That's a
Till
fact.
he's ready to. For nobody to leave, if it is shit to go on, and Hov conducted the shit the same way. It started at 12 and he just rocked that shit to 3 in the morning.
It's crazy.
That shit, that would never be done.
Ever.
That right there is history alone. It could be a documentary just on the
that.
third day.
Yo, I survived Hov and BX, 3-hour delay.
Word up. For the most part, I came through when you called me, except for 38. He might be the only person I said I didn't come through for.
I'm still trying to burn you, nigga. I don't care. We cool, we friends, we doing business
That's how
together.
it gotta be.
I'm still
You know what I
38.
mean?
I feel you, nigga. I'm trying to smoke this nigga. And I never did. So get in line, my nigga.
Everybody want to be the best in what they do. Everybody want to have the best verse. You gotta want to kill niggas.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta also know that
That's a powerful statement, especially with the 38 situation hanging over the whole conversation. Because now, the argument isn't simply, did Kiss send the verse or not? It becomes a bigger question about expectations. 38 clearly felt like he deserved that same support, while Kiss seems to believe his overall track record already speaks for itself. And that's probably why Kiss didn't sound defensive when he brought 38 up. He wasn't trying to convince everybody that he was some perfect dude who never dropped the ball. He basically admitted that 38 might be the one person who can say he didn't come through. But at the same time, he was also reminding everybody that one situation doesn't erase years of him showing up for other artists. And once you look at it from that angle, you start to see why Kiss probably felt like 38 took one disappointment and turned it into something much bigger than it ever had to be. And here's what makes this whole situation even messier. 38 and Kiss weren't complete strangers who had never shared a record before. There was already musical history there, which is exactly why 38's frustration probably hit harder than it would have with somebody he barely knew. One of the biggest examples is Sunday School with Benny the Butcher. According to 38's side of the story, Kiss didn't even know 38 was going to end up on that record at first. Benny was basically the bridge connecting everything together, and once the final record came together, Kiss heard exactly who was on it. Now think about that for a second. If Kiss really had some serious issue with 38 from the beginning, he could have easily made that situation difficult. Somebody with Kiss's name and position could have said, nah, I don't want him on the record, and suddenly 38's verse might have disappeared. That kind of thing has happened plenty of times in hip-hop when bigger artists start making calls behind the scenes. But Kiss didn't do that. The record came out, everybody stayed on it, and there wasn't some public problem attached to it. That matters because it shows there was at least enough respect between them at one point for the music to exist without drama.
people, they wave hopping.
Like, yo, you one of the only spitters too who's, like I said, surpassed many generations and never chased trends, man.
When you trendy, you gonna be a trend. You gonna come and you gonna go. And you got it. Don't learn how to ride a bike and then you forget how to ride it. But when a bike was your thing, then you see rollerblades and skateboards and this. It's not gonna be as nice on them as you was on the bike. So
exactly.
Stay on what you perfect that. Wheelies, endos. You see your man get the rollerblades.
I ain't never with the blades.
Put the mongoose down. Nah,
I
I'm
ain't
a bike
never
thing.
with the blades.
Yeah,
Man. I can't ice skate, none of that. Give me 4 wheels. I'm good.
People, they wave hopping, and
Factory.
then you lose your own wave. Do what you can.
And they crossed paths musically beyond just that one moment too. So when 38 later started talking like Kiss had completely played him, some fans looked at the situation differently. It wasn't like Kiss had spent years blocking this man or pretending he didn't exist. They had already been connected through records, mutual relationships, and the same gritty lane of hip-hop. That's why this beef feels more like expectations getting crossed than some deep hatred that had been building forever. 38 apparently expected Kiss to come through again. Kiss didn't deliver the way 38 wanted, and instead of that disappointment staying behind closed doors, it spilled into public conversation. Then the public comments got sharper, more personal, and suddenly what could have been handled with one phone call became something everybody had an opinion on. And once 38 started taking direct shots at Kiss personally, the conversation changed completely. Because now, Kiss wasn't just being questioned over a verse anymore. His name, his reputation, and even his standing in the game were getting pulled into it. And this is where 38 may have pushed the situation too far, because once the comments became personal, the whole argument changed. At first, people could understand being frustrated over a feature, especially if 38 felt like Kiss gave him his word and didn't follow through. That's regular rap business. But once 38 started throwing disrespect into it, now you're dealing with pride. One of the shots that really stood out was 38 referring to Kiss like he was basically under Fat Joe. That wasn't just criticism about music anymore. That was a direct shot at Kiss's position, his independence, and the respect he carries in hip-hop. And when you're talking about somebody who has spent decades building a name like Kiss, certain comments can hit way different than somebody simply saying, "You never sent my verse." That could be why Kiss handled it the way he did. Instead of matching 38's energy, he stayed calm and almost brushed the whole thing off. But sometimes that calm response says more than screaming ever could. Kiss acknowledging the situation without feeding the drama made it seem like he wasn't interested in turning 38 into some major rival. And that might be the bigger problem for 38, because 38 clearly wanted an answer. He kept the conversation alive. Other rappers started jumping into it, and the situation became bigger across upstate New York. But Kiss never really gave him the full battle he seemed to be asking for. No diss record, no long rant, no endless interviews, just a few words that basically reminded people, yeah, I heard what he said. But that doesn't necessarily mean Kiss forgot about it. There's a difference between not responding and not taking something personally. Kiss can laugh it off publicly while still deciding behind the scenes that he's never doing business with 38 again. And if that happens, the biggest consequence might not be some dramatic rap battle at all. It could simply be that the door quietly closes. That's why this moment feels important. 38 may have wanted smoke and attention, but he also may have damaged a relationship with somebody he once respected enough to want a verse from in the first place. And once disrespect gets attached to business, getting back to just making music isn't always that simple. Now, the Memphis Bleek part might have been short, but it told you a lot about Kiss too. Because while the 38 situation was already sitting there in the conversation, Bleek tried to slide himself into the same lane, almost like, hold up, what about me? Kiss shut that down quick. He basically told Bleek not to add himself into the situation and not to turn it into something bigger. It wasn't some crazy screaming match, and nobody was really beefing. But you could hear that Kiss wasn't trying to let the conversation get hijacked. He knew exactly where that could go if everybody started piling on with their own stories. And that's where Kiss's presence really showed. Some rappers need to raise their voice to make people listen. Kiss doesn't. He can say one line, laugh a little, and everybody in the room already knows what time it is. That's part of the reason his name still carries so much weight after all these years. Bleek was joking around, but Kiss made sure the line stayed clear. Don't take this 38 situation and turn it into a group complaint session. That actually helped Kiss more than anything because it made his point look even stronger. He wasn't sitting there trying to drag 38, and he wasn't inviting other people to pile on. He was talking about his own legacy, his own track record, and the one situation that kept getting brought back to him. And that's really where 38 is fighting an uphill battle. Kiss has built this reputation where people expect him to deliver whenever he touches a record. Even when somebody else might have the standout verse, nobody walks away saying Kiss doesn't belong there. His consistency is the whole reason people treat him like one of those names that's bigger than just a hot song or a moment. That kind of respect is hard to shake. So when 38 throws shots at him, he isn't just going against another rapper. He's going against years of goodwill, classic records, features, battles, and moments that already shaped how fans see Kiss. And that's why one missing verse was never going to erase all of that. If anything, Kiss finally speaking on it made the whole situation look smaller than 38 probably wanted it to look. Now the real question is what 38 does after this, because Kiss finally acknowledged the situation and still refused to give him the kind of reaction that could turn this into a full-blown rap war. That puts 38 in a tricky spot. If he keeps pressing Kiss, dropping more comments, or taking more personal shots, some people are going to start looking at it like he's forcing a battle that Kiss clearly doesn't want. But if he lets it go now, then Kiss basically gets the last word without ever having to raise his voice. And that might be the coldest part of this whole situation. Kiss didn't need a diss track. He didn't need 10 interviews. He didn't even need to break down every detail. He simply reminded people that he has spent years showing love, doing features, helping artists, and building relationships, while 38 is the one situation that turned into a public problem. That's why this whole thing could end up hurting 38 more than Kiss. 38 is respected as a rapper, no question. He can really spit, and he built his own lane without needing mainstream approval. But when the conversation starts becoming more about interviews, complaints, and who didn't do what for him, that can distract from the music fast. And once fans start paying more attention to the drama than the records, that's when things get dangerous for any artist. Meanwhile, Kiss is still sitting in the same position he was before all of this. His legacy didn't suddenly disappear because 38 was disappointed over a feature. If anything, Kiss's response showed why he's been able to survive so many different eras without getting dragged into every piece of drama that comes his way. So now it really comes down to whether these two ever get back in the studio again. Maybe time cools everything down. Maybe somebody they both respect gets them in the same room and clears the air. Or maybe 38 crossed a line that Kiss simply isn't interested in revisiting. Either way, this started over music and somehow turned into a conversation about respect, loyalty, ego, and how far you can push somebody before that relationship is gone for good. Dripzine wants to know what you think. Did 38 have a real reason to call Kiss out, or did he take it way too far once the shots got personal?